Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Agatha series review. And you might be wondering, because Kirkland's been doing these intros, you might hear this and be
Say
like,
that again.
no, it's myself, Travis now, because Kirkland is not here. He is lost. And where is he working again? Where are those?
Like headstone, tombstone,
Yeah, yeah,
tomb
yeah,
water.
one of the stones. But I'm the Clown Prince of Curses, Travis now. And as you heard, I'm joined by
I'm joined by just the curse, Taylor Field. Oh my
the
goodness.
the curse. Yeah, there you go.
The
Lots of
curse.
curses going on. Maybe Kirkland has a curse, but yeah, he'll be back next week. He got stuck at work, so we'll be talking. I think we're at the halfway point, right? I think it's 8 episodes. I think we've covered
Yeah,
that, right?
8 episodes.
Or is it 8 or 9? Maybe it's 9 because remember a couple of those short ones have been Agatha. You looking it up? Perfect. I
Yes.
can keep introing the show. So
9.
9. Okay, so we're halfway next week. So yeah, we as usual are going to give our non-spoiler thoughts, just a little breakdown of what we thought. Then we'll get into spoilers after the first ad break. Lots of good stuff going on this week, especially Patreons. Checked it out. I'll talk about Patreon a little bit later, but lots of retros. Good thing I didn't promote one retro. That's not happening. But I just put up the so as we've said before, retros are exclusive now for extra or for oh my god, I got so much to talk about here. Some retros are exclusive to Patreon, and that is Fantastic Four retrospective. But if you're on the producer tier, you get them the second we record them. If not, they come out monthly. So I just dropped the Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer retrospective, and then later on this week you will be getting the Fan Four stick, which I will say very fun retro. I think luckily now we've had like the Fantastic Four 1994 and then the Fan Four stick, two of our best retros I'd say, which I feel like is rare to happen in a series. I feel like it's always like, okay, we do retro, and like I mean, like we always have good discussions and all, but there's usually okay, that's the clear gem episode. We got two gem episodes in that retro. We had lots of fun with those ones, so check that out. And then most importantly, I will have a brand thing up and eventually, but uh, and you're gonna hear this for the rest of the month. But as usual, I don't care because it goes towards a good cause. We were just talking about this today. We had a little powwow. Well, just us three, Kirkland somewhere, just dropping thumbnails or thumbs up and whatnot. But Extra Life is happening November 2nd. I think, yeah, we'll be doing 9. I imagine we'll be doing 9 a.m. because those are long ones. 10 might be a bit too much. But yeah, I will confirm. But either way, that day, November 22nd, early PST, we are doing our 24-hour stream for Extra Life and more importantly for the BC Children's Hospital. We've done this. This is year 8, I believe. Yeah, it's year 8. Our 8 year doing it. We're trying to raise, as usual, every year $2,500 towards the BC Children's Hospital. All that money goes towards kids in needs of surgery, supplies, whether it's evac stuff, anything. There's tons of testimonies. One year was very nice. We had a parent write us and say what our funds do for them, and that's what we do. If you can't donate, that's perfectly fine. We get it. Always tough times ahead. Just we ask the day of, and we're going to start announcing events. We got about 8 events right now. And then usual, there's just general us hanging out, us playing video games, us talking to the chat and everything like that. Like if you want to come and just hang out for a couple hours, throw anything. It's like a 24-hour questionnaire. I always throw this out to the Australian viewers, the UK viewers, anyone in different time zones. That's when we need you guys the most because we're in the nitty gritty. But when you guys are up, you can help us ask some questions. But yeah, we'll start announcing the events. But we got 8 events, some returning, some new ones, returning faces as usual. So we put on a big show for Extra Life, and it's all towards a good cause. So if you can't, just come watch the day, donate, like the link. But if you can, it is tax deductible, and anything counts. It's as we said before, that's our goal. But it's not like if we don't hit the goal, we don't. The money still goes towards the kids. So that's a good thing. So check that out. Yeah, so we're gonna be pumping that a lot. And then for reviews, we got Rings of Power season 2 and Joker 2, Joker Folie à Deux coming out as well later on this week. And then the Gimmick, my wrestling show with Espos and David is back. So loaded week. It's been loaded. I think it's going to be quite loaded for pretty much the rest of the year because we got Venom in a couple weeks, and then Craven's going to be around, and there's going to be a Lord of the Rings show, and maybe there's still rumblings about that Spider-Man show dropping in November, and then there's Dexter, which you guys will be reviewing, and then there'll be Creature Commando. So a lot of stuff in the back half. So we're not in the back half yet of this show yet, Taylor. So what are you thinking right before we get to that back half, the 4th episode? We've been here for 3 weeks now. What did you think of this episode? I can't remember the title of this one. I'm not even gonna try.
It was a long one.
Yeah, they're always long. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This episode was a lot of fun actually, and I wasn't sure what we were in store for with the Witch's Road and how what the different trials are going to consist of, but my concern is okay, maybe these trials might start to feel a little bit repetitive, but they only really serve as like, okay, you get into it, and this isn't a spoiler, just I'll base this off of last week's episode.
Mm.
But you get into the trial and you basically have like 5 minutes of just exposition and discussions before the trial actually starts. And I feel like, okay, each thing just serves as our witches over um, like conquering some kind of traumatic thing amongst themselves and then bonding a little bit more, but also having the opportunity to kind of talk more and kind of engage in discussion with each other. I feel like, okay, if that's what we're going to get, because I can't even remember how many trials there are. I think there's 5 trials for each witch in the coven.
Well, yeah,
So,
five trials for one for each witch. The way
one
you
for
said it
each
made it sound
witch.
like each witch had 5 trials, which that'd be a very long show.
That'd be fucking crazy. But yeah, so one witch, one trial, basically, and there's 5 witches in the coven. So that means that we're right on track to kind of complete our trials and get back into Westview before the show comes to an end in the finale. But I just hope that they're not all going to be too much the same. I like this one because I liked how things kind of changed a little bit and just the aesthetic, and I think it was actually pretty fun. And there was a certain thing that they showed, which was like, man, this is terrifying. Never seen anything like this really in, well, there's things like it in the MCU that we've seen before, but this itself is like, this feels like it's out of a horror movie or something else entirely. This is just weird to see this interpretation actually in the MCU. So I thought that was cool, and we got a little bit more of insight on a certain character, which I maybe I'm still torn because I thought this character was a specific character, but now I'm starting to think like, okay, maybe this is just like was it red herring? Is that what they say, or
Yeah,
red
red herring.
fish? What? Yeah,
No,
that's the
red
one.
herring.
Red herring.
They might say red fish, but that doesn't mean what you think it means. So.
So I'm excited to see what's going on with that, and then there's also something that you said regarding another witch that was totally right. So that was fun to see that kind of take to fruition, and
You'll have to
also get
remind me. I don't even remember.
you called it. So
I do. I do that a lot. You
you
know.
do.
Sometimes I surprise myself.
I'm interested though with a little bit more of the backstory and how they're tied with Agatha, because they really were yeah, laying it on hard. So I'll leave it at that though. Overall, like, I enjoyed the episode. I just hope that we don't get too repetitive moving forward.
Yeah, I think I'm on the reverse where it sounds like you're getting more positive on the show, or at least this episode for me, I'm getting, I won't say more negative, but more disappointed because I feel like now we have our template for every episode. I do feel like at least there was a little more, because yes, there's a trial in this episode. There's a little more of the Witch's Road here, which I do prefer as a setting, but I just feel that it's funny. Last week we talked about the house and whatever the Real Housewives set, right? And I said, oh, it just feels like it could just be a lot, a studio, whatever, some section where, oh, we've used this for other shows here, use it for Agatha. And then last week it came out that Agatha is the least expensive Disney Plus show, right? And then to me, like, between that and then this week, I'm like, oh, this makes a lot of sense because these sets, they're not nothing. They're nothing to write home about. They're nothing extravagant, and that's how I felt about this week. I had been spoiled because I think I saw an image or something of the trial, oh, Agatha's new episode tonight. And it's like, oh no. And again, I don't think this is a bad show. I don't think it's anything like that what we've got in with Secret Invasion or like what we just got with Acolyte recently. I thought, oh, there's some really bad stuff in here. For me, it's just okay. It's gonna get. There's going to be flashes of intrigue, but then we always got to go through these trials. And for me, they haven't been, I wasn't too excited by last week other than the hallucinations. And same with this one. I think this one was lesser than we got to learn a bit more about a certain character and their origins, but that actually reveal disappointed me because I was intrigued and I was invested in this character storyline. It's like, actually, it's not that, it's this. Oh, so it's the lesser version. So I think, again, Catherine Hahn continues to kill it. I think that Aubrey Plaza, who, the big surprise, she comes back. She's in this episode. She's continuing to kill it, and I think they got good chemistry, and I'm intrigued there. But there is part of me that I I wonder if I'll like the show more when it's bingeable. Like I watch it all because it might just feel like one big movie of it. It feels very much like the third act of Philosopher's Stone, where it's like, oh, they all got to go through each different room, like a room, chess room, this room, and they're all showing off their skills. So for me, it's like, and this, this show's not going to be that long. I just feel like every week getting to, okay, it's this trial, and so far the trials just haven't. So far, it's 2 for 2 for me of them being meh. So that's why I can't really get excited because half the episode is going to be meh for me. Again, not bad, but just kind of meh. So yeah, we learned some interesting things though, I think, on the other stuff. So for me, the trials are disappointing, but even this episode, it felt like last episode. I feel like that took about 75% of the episode or of that episode. I feel like this was maybe under 50 even. Like I'm trying to think of the time the witches rode to the trials. So if it's like that, then maybe I'll start to like the show more. But yeah, so there's a moment where I was like, oh, I don't know. It's kind of what I worried the show is going to be about. But I guess it's a little bit better. And at least the cast is still doing a great job. Still fun to watch these characters. I can watch Catherine Hahn do this all day. So that's where it's not like a slog. I'm not like, oh my God, this is awful. It's like, oh no, still, entertaining performance in a show that I'm not loving. But anything else to say? Non spoilers?
I don't think so.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we're going to get into it. So if you haven't seen the episode, bow out now and then come back later. If not, we'll be right back. And we are back. So if you don't want to listen to that, head over to Patreon. You can get episodes. Every single episode we do ad-free, early, and exclusive. Each month you get 2 exclusive episodes, whether they're retros, depending on the tier you're on, of course. There's 4 different tiers with a bevy of different benefits. There's 2 different exclusive episodes. Episodes you get early. You get to be on After 9, which we just did last week, which was tons of fun. We had a really good crew there. So lots of good stuff. So check that out. We'd really appreciate it. But as usual, I'd say, hey, this month, if you thought, oh, I might join it, but you know what? Put that money towards Extra Life and join it the next month. It'll still be there. You catch up on episodes. So where do you want to start? What were you saying I was right about actually about a certain character?
Just that the Green Witch would be replaced by Aubrey Plaza. You were saying that, and I did not expect that to actually happen. Yeah, just caught me off guard.
I can't like take that much credit because I feel like in one of the previews she had green on. So I was like, well, that has to be the case, right?
Okay. Yeah, 2 and 2.
I was kind of surprised how, because I thought for sure, and I still thought Mrs. Hart was going to come back, and I still think she's gonna. I don't know. Like, it's just a sneaking suspicion I have, but I thought that we were getting some zombie action here because she was coming out, and I was kind of disappointed when it was Aubrey Plaza, and I thought it was kind of just accepted very easily. I guess they are on the witch's road, and so they're just accepting anything, and they just need another witch. But I thought it was just like, oh, I'm here, oh, okay, and you're part of the crew. I thought there was like a lot of forced exposition of like, oh, like I don't know whether I can't trust her or want her number. It's just like she hasn't been around that much, but Aubrey Plaza does a good job of putting that aura out there. Everyone knows already that something happened with her and Agatha. We'll talk a little bit more about that later at the campfire scene. But yeah, what did you think of Rio being reintroduced into the group to the episode? Now she's a part of this coven for the adventures.
Yeah, she's a lot more insane. She feels like she's. If you ever seen Parks and Rec, Aubrey Plaza's character in there, I feel like if her character was like high on drugs, that would be this character. She just feels very flamboyant and very much like living and breathing this kind of role, which is, I think it's fun. It's definitely something that suits Aubrey Plaza as an actress. Like she likes doing these kind of roles. Again, I don't know her personally, but it just seems like it kind of fits with her MO. So I think her returning as this witch is great because we get a little bit more depth, because last time we saw her it really was a mystery. You're like, why did you hate Agatha so much? And then you're just backing off all of a sudden. Well, now we know that they were lovers at one point, and they had some very interesting dynamics going on where it seems like Agatha kills the witches and then Aubrey Plaza comes in and just takes the bodies. So how long has that been running for? Like, did Agatha just decide to go off on her own? Was the plan to, hey, I'm gonna get Wanda, and then Aubrey Plaza can take Wanda's body? Like, is that something too? Like, I'm really curious what's going on there, and maybe that's how Aubrey Plaza, like, she stays young because she takes the body and does something with the body to make her look younger, because she's definitely younger than the other witches, I'd say. So, in terms of looks.
I I don't think so. I think they all look this. Not all of them, but most of the younger witches all look like they're in like their 30, 40s, in my opinion.
I can't remember the potions
She's definitely younger than
herbologist
Aubrey
one.
Plaza. I'm pretty sure in real life.
I'll give you that. Yeah, she does.
Yeah, so they're making her to be the wild card, and I think she's lots of fun. Most of this episode, when they're in peril or danger, she's doing funny stuff, reading the newspaper, etc. So that's where it's like, okay, that's kind of the show I predicted. Like Aubrey Plaza's character, I so far like I don't know. I felt from the first episode and even the little bit of we got her for the second episode. I think we got her a bit. I can't remember when the fight took place, but I thought she was going to be a bit more serious. Where now she feels very kooky, very aloof, but still like dangerous. But I don't know. I was kind of enjoying what she was putting down before. I thought there was hinges of comedy, like you could smell it, but this is like a full on. You're getting a meal of it, and not that it's bad because she's good at that stuff. But I was a little disappointed. Like, okay, it's she's the wild card. It's like okay, I still thought you could do that, but with her having a bit more of an ominous presence, I guess they're trying to say she's ominous, but I don't know. I don't get that vibe. It's just more erratic. But yeah, it's interesting because there's a couple stories where she said they're showing off their scars, and she doesn't say Agatha, but she just says like, "Oh, this woman is my living scar," and it says something like she had to make her do something or didn't want to do it. I can't remember the full verbiage. I'm starting to wonder now: is she the reason Agatha lost her son? Does she have some hand in that? Because that's what I was picking up from
Mm.
that campfire conversation when she said something like, "Oh, I made her. She had to do something, and I forced her to, or I made her to, or yet da 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 da." And I can't remember what it was. Like I said, the exact lines. I'm not sure if it's a situation where maybe she was dying and she gave up her son. That doesn't sound great either. Like all the scenarios are probably bad, but that's what I was picking up, at least, that maybe, especially because at the end we'll get to teen later, but at the end they're multiple times they're caressing each other. They didn't kiss. She was gonna go for a kiss, she interrupted her, but they hug. And at the end, Aubrey Plaza, like Rio, very confidently says like, "That's not your boy." And I don't think it was in a way like, "Hey, that's not your son, get together." I think that was in a way where maybe she, not maybe, I think she thought that Agatha thought that there's a chance that could be her son, like growing up or something like that. And it's her actively telling you like, "No, like don't even think about, like, it's legitimately not your son. Like get that thought out of
Hmm.
your mind, like not to hurt her, not like oh, don't get too attached, that's not your son." I thought it was actually confirming like that's not your kid, because we learned the siphon or whatever, or the ritual, that the witch that did it also doesn't remember that she did it, right? So what did you
That's
think about
right.
some of that stuff going on with them at the campfire and at the end there? And like I said, they at first Agatha was turning her down a lot, but then she looked like she's gonna go for a kiss. So they got a very layered dynamic going on right now. It's not clear cut, which I do enjoy.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point about that. So it'd be interesting to see what's really going on there. Because yeah, there's just it's still very mysterious with their relationship, and I'm assuming it'll be very interesting when we get to Agatha's trial. And now I guess I don't even know well, no. It was the potions lady's trial in the first trial. So I guess eventually we would get an Aubrey Plaza trial, and we'll get Agatha's trial. And so that might be like two halves to the story. I'm sure that'd be actually a pretty good way to end it off, like a penultimate episode. You get Rio's trial,
Yeah.
and then we know, okay, Agatha's gonna like her trial is gonna continue that story and kind of be the other half of it. I imagine they'll piggy off each other.
Yeah, I could see that. I just wonder which would come first. I agree with you that probably Agatha's would come last, but I wonder if there's a chance that there's like a big reveal with Rio if hers goes last, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if there's something more to it. But yeah, and I also could see Agatha's like, I guess, not saying it has to be the penultimate finale, but I could also see Agatha's going first because when they walk the road, they could have some more moments to kind of talk things over, whether it's her or all the other characters. So, which I
Yeah.
did. Did you think there was going to be another character that was going to die? Because I thought Alice for sure was going to die, and each week we were going to have someone die from these trials. Especially at the beginning of this episode, they asked Agatha like, "Hey, last time you did this, how many witches did you leave with?" And she said one. But when that curse like grabbed her by the shoulders, I thought, "Oh, it's over for Alice." But no, she made it. So do you think anyone was dying?
I thought that we might lose another one, but I'm glad that we didn't. I think that's it's actually pretty nice that we didn't lose anyone else. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that. And She says that they left she survived with one other witch. I didn't take it as just herself being the one. I took it as okay, one other survived, but it's not
Me too, but it's
Aubrey
not.
Plaza because she was acting like she's never been there before. She was like, "This is pretty cool," and she's looking around, exploring it, and checking it
Yeah.
out. Right?
But I guess you could take it at. I could see easily. I took it the same way you did, but I could see people easily taking it as the one, just meaning her, like Agatha.
Yeah.
It's the only one, which is all right. I guess that would make sense from a storyline point of view because they're trying to enforce again. Can they trust her? You know, are they gonna is Agatha gonna kill them, take all their powers? She did that too, where she put her hand on the radio or the intercom while Rio was speaking to like reveal her intentions, but at the same time Rio was like, "Yeah, and you're gonna kill them all and take their powers." Da, 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 da. So again, it's like she was trying to get them maybe against her, but at the same time, it's still while you're known for killing other witches and absorbing their power, so hard
Hmm.
to trust Agatha right now. But I feel like she's trying to. Even this episode, they showed that she's caring for Teen, right? She was the one pushing forward about getting him healed up in the potions, which I don't know. I thought it was very easy, just some water and some moons. Like I feel like you and I could be witches if that's all it takes to heal someone from
That's
a
all it takes. Yeah.
fuck. Like I
We'll
thought
go
that'd be.
practice.
I think it was some like eternal water, something like that. But still, it was like, oh, that's all it takes. They're like, oh, I can't believe you did it. So before we continue, because we're going to go on to Teen, when we obviously last week was her trial, but still, I'm guessing the potions. God, what was her name? The actual witch. I'll have to pull the IMDb. I always forget her name and the fortune teller one. But I'm guessing the person she was talking about, the guy that bound her, that didn't even have magic. That must have been the guy she was hallucinating about last week, right? You think?
I think that's what I think. So yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder again, like I said last week, where I hope we get more, but I hope that's not just it because she doesn't have a trial coming up, right? Her trial, like the potions trial, was hers. So to me, there's not a situation to learn more. So if it's just, oh yeah, that guy that didn't have magic bound me, I don't know how. I'll be a little disappointed. That's kind of all we got of it, you know.
Yeah, I
Jennifer,
mean, because that
Jennifer.
Jennifer, that episode really gave us a little bit into all these characters, right? Like the
Yeah.
old fortune teller, she has some very serious history. I even felt like this episode they kind of like highlighted a little bit more with her because she was looking at the paintings on the walls and she started to get like PTSD. It looked like she was crying. So
Mm.
there's a lot going on with these characters, and whether or not we get it properly explained or it's just through these little riddles, I don't know. I think yeah, with Jennifer they should highlight a little bit more because they really emphasized that, and then they were like you said reiterating it around the campfire here, their battle wounds and stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, in this moment, they save Teen. During which we'll talk about the trial, there's a glass shard that pierced him, looked like he was going to go down. But Agatha was very emotional, wanted her, Jennifer to help and fix him, which she did. He's in like a little mini coma for a little bit. That's where we get the explanation of, the ritual about a witch that cast doesn't know, and the only way it goes away is if it's destroyed, aka meaning like it's no longer needed or need to use. So I don't know if that was also to me that's like a double entendre of like is the ritual no longer needed or like is the person that has the ritual no longer needed, aka they die, right? And that's how it would break. So
Hmm.
that I think wasn't clear. But again, we saw Agatha, she's caring for him quite a bit, which I'm curious to see, like, is it just because the sun connection? Is it just because she's starting to grow to him? Is it because she does have some sort of idea who he is and maybe she's put two and two together? I don't think it's that. I think it's just the sun dynamic. But then he did ask, which I knew we weren't going to get the answer because I'm like, episode 4, there's no way Agatha's spilling the beans yet. I was hoping, but I'm like, they're not going to do this. But they have this little heart to heart, and then, no pun intended, RIP to Miss Hart, this little heart to heart. And then he said, oh, what really did happen to your son? And then she just kind of goes, oh, we got to get going. But what do you think about this interaction?
Well, it's Wanda related, right? Because whenever he tries to say something he shouldn't, the stitches are not just stitches on his mouth. It's a Wanda Maximoff like signature M on his lips.
I don't know.
No, you do. You just pull my leg. You don't have to say it's fine, but
Say that again. I don't
that's
know.
my current theory
Yeah, I
with
actually
that.
don't know like the what you're referring to the M. I've never seen it like seen the big. Oh, that's like the Wanda
Really?
logo. Yeah, no.
Agatha mouth stitches boy.
What's that's quite the phrase to search up
Oh my
there.
god.
Angus.
I'll share the screen so you can see.
Okay.
Now look at that. That is an M. Oh, come on. We'll zoom in here. See, that's an M. It's an M in
Yeah,
cursive.
I guess so. No, you're right. That could easily just be for like Mr. Sinister, though. That could be for
Mr. Sinister. Fuck.
what
Oh
other
my god.
MMCU character is
Mephisto?
there? Maybe Mephisto. Yeah, it could be. They mentioned Mephisto already. God. Who else could it be? Me, Mr. Rhodes, for War Machine tie into
Mr.
Armor
Rhodes.
Wars, but yeah, you don't see the M because it's just a lot of Wanda. That's the tough thing. So let's hope Kirkland's not listening to this episode. But
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought you were alluding to when Kirkland was with us last time. But now, like, I think that's where the red herring is. I think they're trying to make you think that, oh, it's Agatha's son, but I don't think it's that easy.
no, I don't think so. I think maybe she had some hope for that, but I don't know where she'd even get that. I hope it's more just I guess she's maybe just a little sentimental and emotional comes to son, because I don't think there's been any signs like this might be my long lost son that I gave for the Darkhold. But yeah, I wonder where we're gonna get it. Well, I guess like we said, I think we'll get that in her trial episode, so we'll probably see something there. Is there anything specifically on the Witch's Road before we get to the trial?
No, I mean it was pretty like nothing really crazy happened. Just that they were going different ways, right? Like what's her name, Lily or Allie?
Yeah.
Lily wanted to go like somewhere else, not go into that house, but the house kept popping up, so they had to go that route, right?
Lilia, I think it is.
Lilia,
Lilia, I think.
Lilia. Sure.
Lia, yeah, Lilia, yeah, and she keeps getting more visions and whatnot. She's someone that I think is like a for sure goner in this show. That's gonna happen, but yeah, and then we got the trial. So this is where I was a little disappointed. Well, two things. One, I was invested in, hey, for Alice, you want to go on the Witch's Road because you want to find your mom? Great, let's see that storyline. And then it's revealed, well, actually, no, she's just dead. I know for sure. But the Witch's Road, I'm here so it can save me. I didn't like that reveal. I was all for the finding the mother in here and what that could have. I still think there's a way you could have done the same episode with the mother around. So I did not really enjoy that reveal. As I mentioned you weren't on it, but in the first episode, the first review we did for episodes 1 and 2, I said to Kirkland that was one of the storylines I was actually invested in. Now I'm not saying it's she doesn't have a good reason, because if she's cursed, wants to get rid of it, absolutely sure. But I was way more invested in trying to find her mom, and I thought there was something fun about imagining your mom missing on this Witch's Road for like decades. Like I think there could have been something really cool there. And no, she just died, and then they revealed she has a curse. She's been cursed this whole time. That's what this trial is. Her mom was in a band, so they have to sing it. And that's another time I was disappointed when I saw another house. I was like, oh, fuck, it's going to be like, I just knew for sure. And then we get there and they got some costumes. All the ladies looking really good. Even Joe Locke over there, give him quite the wig the poor guy had to wear. But nonetheless, very 60s, 70s vibe of like rock and roll and everything. And they got this is where for me, I was watching. I was like, I can see why a lot of people are going to turn off, because I'm like, I get it's a show. It's Agatha, a bit more comedic, musical elements. But when they do this musical number, I just go, man, this is really what the trial is going to be, eh? And I just feel like I could feel the millions of people switching their remotes off of just like, or not coming back in a few weeks from now, just be like, okay. Because I was hoping these trials were going to be, even last week I think was a bit better as far as like it being a life and death situation. This was too, but I just mean just the actual act of like, okay, we're just going to do this song, but in music. I was like, all right. So I didn't love the trials, and I was very, again, disappointed by, we saw that demon hell person in the trailers. That, oh, this is going to be something really cool, like a set piece or something. I still thought it looked cool, but defeated and gone pretty easy. They just sang at it, and Alice looked at it and said, there's the curse, and then they sang directly at it, and it evaporated. So overall, the trial I was very let down with, even more so than last week. So again, trials are two for two for me of not being something I enjoy. But what did you think of the mom not being lost, being actually dead, and then what do you think of this trial?
Yeah, the whole mom dynamic, it completely kind of went over my head a little bit. I really thought that, oh, we're just gonna get her trying to get her wish at the end of the road, and that wish is gonna kind of come into play with the mom somehow. So I just kind of assumed that. The curse, I completely again, I don't think I even caught on to that. That was in one of the trailers. I remember there's the other thing
Not the
crawling on all
curse.
fours, like
Oh,
Exorcist
Oh
style.
yeah, no, there is a shot. I think in the first one of her looking at the camera, and it's that shot of her yelling and it shaking. So they did have that one
Oh,
in there.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would have been nice if it wasn't just kind of like expended off so easily. I think that that's something that I just wow, we haven't even really seen that kind of stuff in the MCU before. We've seen She-Hulk, the demon creatures that were flying through, and Wong was trying to close the
Yeah.
portal. So we've had that, and then we've had in Moon Knight that dead mummy kind of moving around, which is pretty cool. And then obviously Werewolf by Night. So we've getting little bits of like peeks into this world, and I really like that. And so this was just another addition that was really exciting. But yeah, I feel like they definitely squandered it a little bit, which is quite unfortunate. I think the whole scene with it was absolutely terrifying. I did enjoy them playing music to try
There you go.
and conquer this, but I can see for sure a lot of people just being turned off and not enjoying it.
I
It's
didn't think
not
you
for
were gonna.
everyone. I did. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I actually liked it because I like this one part of it a lot because there's always that kind of like conspiracy, like, oh, if you play this record backwards, that it has like it says like demonic things or whatnot, and the whole thing was like, oh, the record's playing backwards, someone gets cursed, and they're dealing with like Satan, witches, and whatnot. So their whole solution was, okay, we got to sing the song that's on the record. I liked everything that they were playing off of that, these little like witch tropes and demonic trope things. So I think that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I do hope, though, as much as I enjoyed this, that moving forward, it's not going to be repetitive and like next week is another musical kind of thing.
Yeah, because we got the potions, we got the music, and that made sense because they hinted that before. So what we have, obviously, we have Agatha and we got Rio. Those will be the last two. And Agatha, I imagine, who knows what her would be? Something with the dark, or something with the child. Rio, I think that's gonna be like a wild card. You could say it has something to do with greenery and like that type of stuff. But I think there's more. Like obviously, there's more to her that we don't know. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
could be a wild card one. And then we got Lilia, who with the fortune, I'm not sure if that's going to play into that whole those dead people she saw. Remember last week, and that I'm hoping could be something cool. Like, but
Right.
I'm sure it's just going to be like we're at a dress store and put on a dress of these dead people. I don't know. Is there another witch I'm missing? Because we had Jennifer's trial, we just had Alicia's. I think that's it for the coven, right? If I'm
I
missing
think so.
one,
Yeah. I think you're
okay.
on.
So what that gives us potentially if we have episode 5, 6, 7, that would make sense of 8 and 9 not being trials in there unless one of
Mm-hmm.
the trials like ends on a cliffhanger and then we go into one. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. So yeah, next week should be uh Aaliyah. Oh god.
Lilia.
Lilia. Yeah,
Lilia.
I just combined Lily and Alicia's name there for a second, but yeah, I hope it's something good. But yeah, we got potions and I imagine hers could be like a mind game or something to do with your brain or seeing the future. I really don't know, but yeah. Is there anything else to say about the trials?
No, I don't think so.
Anything else about this episode we haven't talked about yet that I'm missing?
No, I think we covered it. The sun scenario and Aubrey Plaza appearing, Hearts, Fate, and the trial. I can't think of anything else. I'm just waiting for them to drop more kind of like Easter eggs regarding Mephisto or anything like that.
I think you might only get one more of those, maybe two if you're lucky, but I think just one more, and that's probably kind of it. So
Damn.
yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's it. Kind of shorter, but these episodes are kind of shorter. These trials, there's not too much to break down. And I know there's probably Easter eggs galore, but those always come out later when the people that do a lot of hard work but are crazy and they watch them and just have these 8-hour videos about everything. But yeah, that's about it. We'll be back next week for Agatha episode 5, and I promise you it'll not be boring.
Bye.